I want you to imagine that you're working on a really complex problem and it's something that requires your full cognitive capacity. So it's something that it's pretty full on and you need to be there, you need to be present, you need to be top of your game. Think about when you've been in a situation like that. Now, what's happening? Your mind is racing. It's trying to process a huge amount of information. You're trying to analyze data, and you're also trying to come up with innovative solutions. Now, something can happen at this stage. All of a sudden, we can feel very overwhelmed and we can start to hit a wall and our productivity starts to drop. And this scenario might be familiar to you, and it really highlights the importance of cognitive load management in being able to foster resourcefulness and also efficiency. So I want to explore cognitive load and also understand some of the neuroscience so that we can stop it from influencing our behavior and our performance as well. So before we dive right into cognitive load management, let's talk about cognitive load and what it actually is. Now, cognitive load refers to the total amount of mental effort required to complete a task or to solve a problem. Now, why this is important is our brain has limited cognitive resources. And when the demands of a task that we're doing exceeds its capacity, this is where we start to see performance drop and performance suffer. So what is actually happening inside your brain? Obviously, we've got a lot of different brain regions and networks at play, but really your prefrontal cortex is the one that's important here. This is responsible for executive functions, so it plays a huge role in managing your cognitive load. It regulates attention, working memory, and also your decision-making processes. So when cognitive load becomes excessive, your prefrontal cortex struggles to allocate resources effectively. And this is what leads to decreased resourcefulness and impaired efficiency as well. So this overflows into having a negative effect on our behavior and our performance as well. And when we're faced with high cognitive load, our attention, it's fragmented, it splits, and that stops our ability to focus on relevant information. Now, what happens there? We get more errors, we get reduced creativity, we find it hard to come up with solutions as well. We hit the wall, right? This is where we hit the wall. Now, one of the things that also happens is when we experience these high cognitive load demands, it increases our mental fatigue. And when that happens, we've already hit this wall cognitively. Now we're hitting that wall mentally as well. And that's impacting our motivation and our overall productivity. So I want you to stop and I want you to take a minute to reflect on your own experiences. When's the last time that you hit this wall? When's the last time that you felt overwhelmed by cognitive load, and how did it affect your problem-solving abilities and your efficiency? And is this something that's happening quite a lot for you, or is this more the exception rather than the norm? What we really want to find out is, do we have an ongoing cognitive load problem that needs to be addressed, or are there specific situations where we encounter cognitive overload that we need to address? So is it ongoing, or is it in specific situations? And in able to optimize our cognitive load and enhance our resourcefulness and our efficiency, we can employ different strategies. And the first one is chunking and information organization. And we've talked about this a little bit already. This is really where we chunk down that information into bite-sized tasks, manageable subtasks, split it down into the parts so then we can put it back together as a whole. And in order to do that, we want to structure the information in a logical and a hierarchical manner. I can't say that word. We want to have it in a logical structure, one that makes sense and it's got a really clear flow through. And what that's going to do is that's going to enable easier comprehension and also easier retrieval. Now, to do this, think about using visual aids, diagrams, mind maps, those kinds of things to visually represent the relationship between ideas. We process visual information much faster than text-based. The next thing is externalizing and offloading. So our working memory has limited capacity, and our working memory is hugely important for our resourcefulness. So it's important to offload information from our mind. So how do we offload the information? You can utilize external tools like notebooks, digital apps, task management systems to capture and organize important information. By offloading information, we free up cognitive resources for more critical thinking and problem solving. And this is one of those things where even if you think, no, I've got it, I can handle it, just get rid of it. Everything that you're storing up in your brain that you haven't written down is taking up brain space for other stuff. So even if it's something that you know you're going to remember, write it down. I use Slack. I use my phone, and I'll Slack myself a message, even if I know that I'm going to remember. Even if I never think I'm going to go back and look at it, I do it because it helps to consolidate, it helps to store things, and it helps to offload it. So you want to do that. You want to free up your cognitive resources as soon as you can. Next thing is prioritization and time management. This is great for helping to distribute cognitive load as well. And so that's where you want to identify those high priority tasks and allocate focused time blocks for their completion as well. And something else is automating routine tasks. So when we automate routine tasks, this is where we find those things that are repetitive, or they are things that are very process driven as well. And we can take steps to go and automate them. And when we do that, this significantly reduces our cognitive load. So leverage technology and tools to automate processes. That's going to free up your mental resources for more complex and more creative tasks. So if it's something which is very repetitive, or it's something which is very process driven, or if it's something that you need to do a lot, automate it. You can explorate. That's a great word. You can explore different task automating apps and softwares and programs. There's heaps of software out there for it. This could even just be project management softwares, but you can also tap into workflow optimization tools as well to streamline your work and to enhance your resourcefulness. These might be little AI assistants that just keep you top of mind. This might be even like to-do lists to be able to keep on top of tasks as well, so that you know when you need to go in and hit the trigger to start an automated task as well. So think about the things that you've got, and you've probably already got these in your life already. You might have tried to use them in the past but never stuck to them. And the reason that we don't stick to them is a lot of the time we don't actually realize the benefits. We think, I can get this outcome myself in another way. And you're right, you probably can. But this is about freeing up that cognitive space. Just because you can remember it doesn't mean you should remember it. And everything that you need to store up here takes away from those cognitive resources. And your brain resources are not infinite. They are limited resources. So use the things around you to make it easier. In order to put that into practice, I want you to stop and I want you to take a moment to identify one routine task in your work or your personal life or even your social life that you can automate. Think about how would automating this task impact your cognitive load and your overall resourcefulness. Pick those things that you're doing a lot of. You're doing this thing quite a lot, and it could be automated. You probably already know what this is. You just haven't done it. And so that would be great. If there's something that you've thought about for a while and you've never got around to it, I want you to stop and I want you to think about how you feel doing that thing before you do it. And then I want you to go and automate it and see the difference. See the difference in automating that task on your cognitive load and your overall resourcefulness as well. Now, before we finish up, remember, cognitive load management, it doesn't just happen itself. You need to proactively manage your cognitive load in order to enhance your resourcefulness and your efficiency. And when we understand some of the neuroscience, this is where we can tailor and we can personalize those strategies to optimize our cognitive resources, to improve our problem-solving abilities, to increase our efficiency as well. So remember to organize information, remember to offload tasks, remember to prioritize effectively, and also to automate those routine processes as well. And when we cultivate these habits, now we're becoming more resourceful, we're becoming more efficient, and we're becoming more successful in our ability to approach these tasks and to overcome them consistently in the time frame that we've got with the resources that we've got. That's all for now. Bye now.